Sorry.
Table right here next to the store.
Thanks.
Be careful.
Thank you. Hey everybody. Okay. Hey. So I have to find you. And it's not easy for me to do this because I pretend I don't wear glasses sometimes because I actually hate them. I loathe and despise with every fiber of my body. But I can't see without them. But I pretend like I can. It's always nice, huh? Okay, let's see. Oh, look. This is like high tech. I spent a lot of money. Yarnitarian. Can you guys even see it? I have all of my my subject changes are right here behind this one. And of course, I couldn't get my printer to work, you guys. It's like I'm telling you, technology makes you just want to. I want to start screaming. I do want to start screaming. It really makes me insane because when you want stuff to work, it doesn't work. Your printer will always work if you just want to, like, I don't know, what, like have someone else use it. But if you want to use it, it doesn't work. Anyway, okay. I wish someone was in chat. Is someone in chat? Because I really want to visit. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about, though, besides the fact that this is like a do-over, since I had to get my internet. You guys, you have no idea. It was like 9 hours worth of stuff to get my internet, like, they call it, like, resetting it. You're like, really? That was a really big word. No, it's like resetting it, and then they, like, drain the lines, and then they saw something was running in the background. Or, no, like, well, maybe. But, like, it was constantly running, and so we had to go, like, through all of the studios, because I have so many, not really, but, like, this studio, because it has, like, it has internet, and then, like, the two Airbnbs, they're amazing. And then through all my house, and then the kids had to turn off all their stuff and all their phones. It's amazing how many things you have online that you don't realize you have online. And then from their house, my internet service provider could see something running in the background. And it ended up being a Google dongle. I love that word, dongle. It's such a strange name, but anyway, a Google dongle that was in one of the cottages. And it was like just running and running and running. It was taking up a tremendous amount of whatever it's called, it's bandwidth, whatever. And I like to sound educated about techie things. Flip-flops and dogs at work and making your own hours. That's techie. That's kind of stuff really, I mean, honestly, like making your own hours, like showing up to work. I seriously, Tricia was telling me, because her husband works in the tech industry, and she says that like they kind of get to make, they not only kind of, they do make their own hours. And I said, but what happens if they just don't want to come to work? She goes, well, those ones don't work out. Anyway, make your own hours. Okay. I mean, I understand, like, you know, I mean, like, literally, but you have to go 5 days a week. I understand kind of having your hours, but you go 5 days a week. I don't understand, like, literally, if you don't feel like going in, you just don't go in. Because that just, in my universe, that just doesn't work. I just tell the sheep, I'm sorry, but I really don't feel like feeding you right now. Maybe tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. Oh. I'm not going to get to this yet, but this is another cool graphic. You guys are like, so, my favorite one. It just has one word. Can you guys see that? It has Jan's name on it. Because Jan and I were talking about something, but we're going to talk about that later. I'll tell you when we're making sudden changes. Actually, I'm going to go to her first because she's really interesting. You guys know Jan Massey. You guys have to look her up. So this is the deal. Jan used to be a pipe fitter for Miller. And she is at, oh, you know what I love? What I love is that I left it in the printer. I love her so much. She is like a linebacker. Like this woman, I'm telling you. And she will take you out. I mean, she will. And I'm a throwdown bitch too, but she's a throwdown bitch. She cracks me up. I call her Grumpy Cat because she looks just like Grumpy Cat. I swear to God. If you guys go look at a picture of Jan Massey on Facebook and then you look at Grumpy Cat, it is her. And so then another friend of ours, Jennifer Nightingale, bought her a Grumpy Cat sweatshirt. Big picture of Grumpy Cat on it. I'm not kidding you. They like I'm the one that I'm just gonna take credit for identifying that she looked like Grumpy Cat first, proudly. And then her dog, it looks like a sausage. Jan. Because it's about Jan. I love Jan so much. But anyway, so the first thing is like yesterday I called her on the on Messenger. I begged. I was like, Jan, you have to go help me at Stitches West. Because I actually have people in my class. I do. So I'm teaching Nabori, which is this. I'm going to show you. Which is dying on, and I'm not trying to be a dick here. I was actually going to have like a board. I wanted to put a board here just to warn people of like words that I might use and words that I will use that are probably vulgar and the words that I will not use. and just write them all on the board. But the words that I would not use would not have anything underneath it. Because I swear like a truck driver. I try not to. Anyway, so this is Nabori on silk, and so this is one of the classes I teach. So what they did, what stitches, and I love them so much. Okay, the stuff that I teach that people to do is amazing. Like I'm telling you, it's really hard because this is going through the internet, so you can't see how beautiful the colors are. But these colors, I am telling you, are so incredibly vibrant. And I teach people, this was, you guys are like, really it was white. And then I teach people how to do this. And in, you know, a day they make, I think they get six scarves, silk scarves, and they learn different techniques, right? So anyhow, and then some girl, and they're amazing. Then some girl walks by and she's got this silk scarf on with like textile paint on it, like stamped on it. It's like got a solid background with textile stamps. Like a monkey could do it. And then Roberta, who was with me, who is a friend of mine, but she was also a student at the Stitches, she's like, oh, I see you're wearing a silk scarf. And hers was all like wrinkly because the teacher, I'm not bagging out the teacher, but she didn't bring an iron. I bring an iron so that my students' work gets dry and it looks amazing. And I've got to be honest with you, textile paint does change the texture. Like this is, and it's only on one side, right? And the girl's like, yeah, I just took a class on silk stamping. It was so much fun. And I really got irritated because I actually teach them like about the fiber and about like really how to do it at home. Like you'll really be able to do it. And then I was like, what? At the same exact time they have like a monkey class? Like you're like, stop saying that about primates. Anyway, I did. I got a little bit offended. I'm not going to lie. Because it's like, I'm actually going to, because I have take a lot of, you guys are like, shut up, we don't care. I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I want you people to learn. That's the thing. It's so important for me to teach people like really about what they're doing so that they can go home and like just absolutely make it amazing when they're home too. You're like, stop turning your back to us. I'm so rude. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so Nabori is one of the classes that I'm teaching, and then I'm teaching one called the what, why, when, how of yarn, and that, you guys are like, stop bragging. No, believe me, there's plenty of people that don't like me. And I don't know why, because I'm actually a really nice person. I know I am a throwdown bitch, but if I am nice, until someone crosses me, then I'm not so nice anymore, let me tell you that. But anyhow, but that's how it should be. Anyway, when I taught at this last place, the last Stitches, they stood up and clapped for me. I'm not kidding. You're like, they're clapping because it's over. No, they actually said it was an amazing class, and that I should have, that the description needed that it was so much more than what but I get in a hurry when I'm writing the descriptions, you guys. And then I'm teaching, you're like, we really don't care. Hand spinning, and what's the other one? Oh, I'm teaching a class that Jan gave to me. Jan taught me a class that I could teach because I just love her so much. I ran around with Jan. I got to have a class. It just says I need a 3-hour class. My classes are a little bit long. They're like, you know, usually 6 hours. Or they're like the camp stitches. We're doing camp stitches in New Mexico, I think, Taos in June. Only 15, I think 15 students are allowed. Look it up. It's amazing. And I actually have a discount code. It's only good for 30 days that I can give people. But anyway, moving on. And anyway, she said, well, you know, I made this class called Landscapes of Color on a blending board. And so then she came here and was hanging out with me, and she's like, okay, I'll teach you this class. It was awesome. And then I knit a hat in like a day. You're like, really? Because you can't knit in socks in like 4 weeks because you keep ripping them out. I do. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so I did. She taught me this class. It's awesome. So I'm teaching 4 classes. Is that 4? It doesn't matter. But anyway, so Jan, I was like, Jan, you gotta come help me. You gotta come help me at Stitches West because my classes, I've got, you know, they got a lot of people in them. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really feeling it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't really expect that, right? And then I'm like begging her. I'm like, I'll pay for your ticket. I mean, come on, like, oh, come on, you know, do a favor for a friend. Come on. So I finally convinced her to do it, and then I find out today I think they have an assistant for me. So then I had to call, and I was like, nah, I'm sorry. I think that they have an assistant for me, and they're free. They're never going to be as good as Jan. Jan and I just have fun. And she's super, super generous, just such a nice person. But she doesn't look at, she looks, and she can be really, you guys, like when we were in, I had her help me be my assistant. She was in Chicago. Good thing with Chicago, because isn't that the place where there's like a lot of, like there seems to be a lot of crime, etc. A lot of shooting, sadly. But she totally fits into that gangster thing. I mean, and the people like, when 5 o'clock hits and it's time to leave, she's like, okay, everybody. And I'm like, Jan, stop it. Like, I'm the one getting reviewed. But she's like, nope, it's not fair. It's not fair. Everybody pays the same amount for the class. Okay, everybody. And I'm like, but I told a couple people that they could stay longer. She's just like, nope, you gotta go, up and down, up and down. I literally, because I'm getting, like, I get completely reviewed, and I was just like, seriously, and I was like, Jan, could you, like, please, just don't do that. Just like, it's okay. And she's like, actually, it's not okay. And then she just starts taking their stuff. I'm not kidding you. Like, you guys, my face is probably beet red right now because that's really what happened. Like, she is, I love her. I do love her. And I am telling you, you better not stay. But that's that, like, union rules thing. like when that time clock, when it says 5 o'clock, bitches, you are clocking out. And that's just the way it is. Pipe fitter, union pipe fitter. I mean, it's pretty amazing, really, for a female, you know. I mean, I took welding, and you guys are like, we really don't care what you did. But I took welding in college just for fun. And believe me, it wasn't fun because I smelled like iron all day. Like, I smelled like metal. I couldn't stand it. I literally, and it was in the morning, at 8 in the morning, I hated the way I smelled. I really could not stand the way I smelled. And the only part that I really remember, which is not great, I guess, considering you usually should remember these things so that you could use them later, which I really could use welding right now. I was like, I told her, I think I want to start MIG welding. She's like, just like I said, a monkey could do like that type of bite. She's like, a monkey could do that. I'm like, okay, that is perfect for me. It was burning through aluminum. Aluminum welding is very hard because it's pretty delicate and you can burn through it really quickly. And my joints weren't very good, and I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't a great welder. I'm not good at a lot of things. There's very few things that I'm really good at. One of them is you're like, we really don't care. I'm an expert equestrian. That's the one thing that I am really good at, because I did it for since I was little. But and I was a licensed exercise rider for the racetrack, Southern California, thoroughbred racing circuit. So I just want to tell you this. Everybody who's ever ridden a hunter jumper or like rides English thinks because the saddle looks similar to a flat saddle as an exercise rider that they'll make a great rider. Usually the worst. Actually, they're bad because they have all this muscle memory, and it's not like you have to totally, the horse, the way that it's just completely different. Being an exercise rider and then being riding English are just, they're not even remotely related. Anyway, moving on. Okay, let me just see what is going. You're like, we don't really want you to go away. Yes, we do. We want you to go away. Hang on. Okay. Oh, I love Shannon. Shannon Graber's like, you're right. They all pay the same amount. And then, no, it wasn't Jan. It was afterwards. Jan saying that it was like, it was Jan saying, I love her so much. I really do. I love her so much. She said it was lunch, and I need lunch like everyone else. Actually, I've got to be honest with you. Like when I'm working, I don't. I'm so like focused, hyper focused on teaching because I want to do so well for the people that support me. Like in Stitches, they support me. Like, what about the students? Yes, the students, but Stitches, I feel like such a huge obligation to them that I really, all I think about is just doing a good job and making sure that everything's good. So like during lunch, the 2 hours that are during lunch, I try to like clean up and make sure that everything's good so when the students come back, everything's perfect. I want to show you more stuff because it's the other stuff that I've been doing because I'm having this sale this weekend on Facebook, and because I have one every couple of weeks, and because they're amazing. So a lot of people don't know. Okay, so the long wools, people that don't know, long wool fleece, like merino, is not a long wool fleece. It's a fine wool fleece, so it's short. So the staple's short. So a person could think, well, if I cut my hair after it had grown for 2 months, it would be short too. But when you talk about sheep, shearing a sheep, and whether a staple is short or long, you're talking about within a year's growth. So yes, there are outliers. Some people shear under a year. I do. Some people shear over a year. In the UK, the first hogget fleece, hogget or shearling, they're sometimes called hogget fleeces or shearling fleeces, is the first fleece into the next year. So from when they're born until the next year, till they're like 12 to 18 months. And so these are hog fleeces. Hogget fleeces. And so what happens, because they've been on the animal for so long, and once again, like, because going through the internet, the colors aren't the same, I'm telling you. Like, the brightness is unbelievable. But this is, they get slightly cotted because they've been on the animal. Cotted means a tiny bit felted, like stuck together. So cotted could be a tiny bit stuck together to completely like a pelt, like a humane pelt. And so how does that happen? Well, it happens because the animal, just like me, my hair is fine, and so when I walk, it moves, and when it does that, it felts. It like tangles and mats, kind of like, it kind of dreads in the back. and then we'll get like really a giant rat's nest. And so that happens to them. They're walking and their fleece is moving, and then if they get a little bit sick, or they have a change of diet, or they have a change of feed, they will get a little bit of wool break. And when that happens, wool break is like they get a little fissure, just like the rings in a tree. How when a change happens, you can see it in the rings of a tree. It's sort of the same on a fleece. When something happens, they get this little fissure in their fleece, and that can go from a full-blown break where it completely falls out. All of their fleece just falls off and they're bald, like literally like chemotherapy. And then it'll cease to grow. There will be this cessation of growth for a short amount of time, and then it'll regrow, or to just a little fissure, and that little fissure will make it felt, slightly caught. And so then we end up, then the fleeces have, you can pull them off in sheets, which is how I like to dye them. And so these are super long. They're really long. And what you can do is once you get these, you'll just, they come off the animal when they're shorn, and then you can peel them off into really cool shapes. And then you can take crochet and stabilize them, put them into a shape you want. For example, like this one's kind of a funky shape, like it's like, it's got like this bulbous part on the end, so I'd pull this off. And then I would go through, I would open it up, and make it like really nice, and open it up in any place that it wasn't together, that it looked like it had a place that would break apart. I would take and I would crochet in the same color of yarn, like a lace weight yarn, but that was strong. And I would stabilize it. And so you can do an entire pelt this way. Like literally, because sometimes, and I've sold them, like literally it comes off like this, where the underneath is all felted, but all the locks on top are perfect, but then there'll be like a hole in the middle or something, and so then you just crochet that together, like essentially, mending it, but it makes a really cool effect. You're like, why are you telling us this? I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm going to teach you guys to do that before the sale on Saturday. So I think the sale is going to be at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, and then, so maybe like 1:30, I'm gonna on just like we're doing right now, I'm gonna show you guys, because everybody always wants to know how to stabilize these so that they can wear these boas, because you can literally wear them, around your neck, or you can put them on, like use them as a chair cover, or like a dog. I made one that was a dog bed, and this one, like this, I love this one. I made this in class for my colorways class, and it's copper patina, and it's really beautiful. But their locks are gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. You guys are like, could you talk about something else? Yes, let's talk about me. You're like, let's not. Anyway, so Jan, who I love. Okay, so I'm going to get back to Jan because we're still on Jan. The way you know that is I haven't changed cue cards yet. By the way, I do have to blow my nose. So I came in here and I was like, Sean, oh my gosh, I don't have any tissue, because I told you guys I have this obsession for blowing my nose since my cocaine days in the 80s. Anyhow, actually, cocaine is such a bad karma. If I do not tell you about my hay broker and the cocaine, you have to remind me. But I have no idea where I was at. Where was I at? Oh, Jan. So one of the things, Jan, so today when we were talking, or yesterday, we were talking, she actually just came up with this spontaneously. She was like, I think we need to, I don't know how she thinks we're going to change something, but in spinning, for those of you who don't spin, where the fiber goes through, so it's as the wheel's turning to put twist into the yarn, and it's being there's uptake, it's being pulled through an orifice in the front of it. And she's like, I get so sick of when I'm teaching hand spinning having to use the term orifice. Like, we need to use a different word. It's like, I actually don't know of really, I'm trying to think of I was trying to think of all the different words. Of course, I had come up with words like pie hole, like fiber pie hole, and she's coming up with I think she said, then I went through all the synonyms, and vent is one, and so I was reading them off to her, but vent also is, in a chicken, here we go, if you don't know anything about animal science. So vent, cloaca, so it's like, vent is essentially it's both the asshole and the urethra are in the same orifice of a chicken. You guys are like, wow. And the penis is inside that. And so, like, if you want to ejaculate a chicken, a rooster, well, if you want to ejaculate just a chicken, you might not be able to because it might be a hen. But if you want to ejaculate a rooster, you pet it. This is the God's truth. So I wish I had a chicken, like a real chicken, and then I would show you, but I can't. Anyway, so you stroke its back, like you kind of go like this on its back, and then you lift its tail like really firmly. You're like, wow, you have that action down. You've been doing it. I have. I actually am an expert chicken ejaculator, which I am. I'm dead serious because I practiced a lot. Seriously though, I did. And anyway, because I had I used to have show chickens. You're like, this is just a weird conversation. Anyway, so and then Vent was one of them, and then she was saying that she was cracking me up with the stuff that she was saying because none of them are any better. She was saying fiber shoot, like I'm like fiber shoot, then intake hole. I'm like, okay, that is no better either. Like intake hole. Then I was like, well, why don't we call it like a vagina, like a fiber vagina? And then we were just laughing hysterically. And then I was like, you know what would be a great place to find that word would be maybe like a fly fisherman or like a fishing pole, because they have like the eye, right? So maybe there's like another word in there, but they have something that, you guys, a butt cap. Like, I'm like, who named these things? I'm dead serious. And then I was looking at and then the whole thing, just even the idea of a rod and a pole, like you cannot get, if you have like a child's mind, which apparently we must have childish humor, like everything was just funny. We were just cracking up the entire time. I will tell you though, I agree, the word orifice, we have to change it. But I don't know how to start that because first of all, we don't have anything to put in its place. Nothing. Suggestions? We'll take them. Seriously. But then all of us have to do it. Because, and then you can't do something like say orifice, or you say like vagina and then go, orifice. You have to like stick with it. Okay, that's my story. Okay, let me look really quick and see if anybody's saying anything. Look at what I got in the mail today. At first I was like, these are like pasties, not really. These are for my cottages. They're pretty cool, huh? They're to open the doors in my armoire, inside my armoire. You're like, why did you get some? Oh my God, you guys, I swear to God, the place I bought this has, I swear to you, I'm not lying. The place I bought these, it's in Indonesia, and they have like, they're amazing. I don't know if it's lost art. Jan was talking about lost art of wax. Is that what it's called? I think it must, this came with dirt all over it. Like it was obviously, it had been in dirt or something. You're like, they probably dropped it down. No, but they're penises and they're like handles, like, but they're giant, like to open like giant doors, and they're on Etsy. And I want one, so not the giant one. They have ones that are like 23 centimeters, which I think is like a reasonable size. Once again, bringing me back to my hay broker. Anyway, which is a reasonable size, but they're really cool. And I'm going to give you the name. I'm afraid to go because I don't want anything to happen and us get bumped off. Because, you know, I start going places and opening windows, and then, you know, pretty soon. Hang on, I'm going to look. I want to tell you. I want them so bad, but I just think, like, okay, for comedy or anything, this isn't for comedy. I actually like them. But, like, you have to take risks. And that's why things are funny, right? Is because if somebody takes a risk, right? This is something that I think is so artistic and really cool. They're really cool and unusual, but I just don't know how many people, and this is not, I'm not being facetious, how many people are really, like, would get it, or if they'd give me a bad review because they'd be like, and then I had to grab hold of this penis door handle. Like, that would be on the review. See? You see where I'm going with this? Okay. Penis, they're called, what are they called? They're called, door handles. I'll just put door handles. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm not, okay, here we go. Here we go. I love that this one says used. Okay, the person's store is Silk Road Yamba. So S-I-L-K and the word road and then Y-A-M-B-A. I'm telling you, they're amazing. You'll want them. Well, I think you might. Okay, I really want to, if I turn this around, I'm afraid that you guys are I'm gonna like disconnect us. Because like my internet's connected to this. So you have to go there, Silk Road Yamba, Y-A-M-B-A. Amazing. I'm telling you, they're extraordinarily well made. You're like, that's the whole thing is we're now, like, we're even having this conversation. Not really. Okie dokie, let's see. Did I say the penis word? I think I probably did. Hello, everybody. I mean, is that weird? I don't know. Maybe not in animal science, huh? We used to electroejaculate cows. Not cows, because cow technically is a female over 18 months, and it's had a calf. But we would electroejaculate bulls. And that, like that, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you want to talk about we shouldn't be shearing them, I understand we should, but collecting semen, but I have to be honest with you, it's like, ugh. And the electroejaculator, I don't know if they've changed sizes, but it's like this big around, I'm like that long. And you're supposed to put it in their anus. You're like, can we talk about something else besides penis and anuses? I'm sorry, and orifices. You guys are like, she must be drinking too much and eating too many Cheetos. I have bad breath and I don't want you to get offended. Okay, I'm moving on. Oh, if I'm moving on though, where's my thing? One day, what if I have real graphics? I don't know if I can do that across these different platforms. Hang on. Jan, I'm sorry, but you're going now. We're moving on. Oh my gosh, I know you guys have all seen it. Because even Franklin Habit, about Lucky Brand, tweeted about it. Thank you. Who was it? I think it was Trisha sent it to me. It's all fake news to me. I have to show you again. Did I go too fast? You guys are like, thank God you covered up your face. Anyhow, listen. I'm a huge advocate for agriculture. I am such a huge advocate because I love what I do. And I recognize that if you don't make your own food, then you don't have a solid country. Do you really want to be dependent on Venezuela or, any other country really for our food? No, I don't. And plus, it's so meaningful. Like, it's like the hard work is so incredibly meaningful. And the hardest thing when because I do have 2 degrees in animal science, a bachelor's and a master's. And when I first got into the sheep industry, I was in the thoroughbred industry before, but the sheep industry, that people would really, and this is not a lie, they would make fun of me and they were terribly mean. Like, I'd go to sheep shows, and the only person at the time that was nice to me was Martin Daly of Super Sire Ltd. And he taught at UC Davis at the sheep station in Hopland. And he would, just tell me, don't let those little biddies treat you like that, or don't, feel bad. Don't feel bad. But it was really humiliating. They treated me, and I'm in their territory, and it was in Oregon, and I drove 20 hours to show my sheep there, and so it wasn't once or twice; it was many times. As a matter of fact, Black Sheep Gathering tried to ban me for life. They're such fucking idiots. I'm just going to tell you right now. They're just ridiculous. Honestly, it's like so. It's ridiculous. And I didn't even hit anyone. I should have. Nothing. They said I parked in the fire lane, but I parked in the fire lane because they told me to load and park there. And then they used it again. It's unbelievable. I never did accept the whatever it was. It was like a certified letter. I never accepted it. So technically I was never served. Doesn't matter. But anyway, they treated me so badly because they thought, if I shaved under my arms and I didn't wear men's t-shirts and Birkenstocks, I couldn't possibly do my own work, right? I couldn't possibly actually be an animal scientist. And actually, he totally went to bat for me. And he's like, I'm just going to tell you, she actually does do her own work. She shears all of her own sheep, and she's educated. What do you do? Right? He was really, but farmers work hard. They really do. And they are the salt of the earth people. And they really, I have to just be honest with you. Like, the amount of physical labor that they do, and the amount of caring, and the amount of also risk, tremendous amount of risk because, whether it's a crop, whether you're in crops or whether you're in, animals, whether there's livestock, there's dead stock, and that's just the way it is. There's a lot of death, and no matter whether you are in, if you're crop science, there's like your crops can be wiped out just because of a frost. The whole thing. I have no idea why I'm talking about this. I think I have to have more beer and I'll remember. Anyhow, why am I talking about this? Would someone tell me? She's saying, does anybody know where I am? And I wear heels. I love heels. I'm actually not wearing them today. I'm wearing little Prada flats is what I'm wearing. Oh, the fake news. I'm getting back on track. So this whole thing, I try to promote positive agriculture. And the hard part is that everybody always thinks of the downed cows meaning that they're on the ground and being picked up by, you know, a tractor in some feedlot somewhere or some slaughterhouse. Like those are, when they think of farmers, that's what they think, that we're all doing that. And that's really hard. You think about how many organizations are trying to get rid of agriculture or any sort of animal science, and how many of them are advocating for plastic. I am sorry. Anybody who wears pleather, don't give me the shit that pleather, that you have vegan pleather and it's and you know, they make vegan pleather now that isn't made out of plastics. You know what? There's one, and it's so expensive you probably can't afford it. The Kardashians can. So you're not wearing that. But that's the thing. I am this person too. If you want to be a vegan and you want to not want to eat, that's fine. But if you're going to start like pontificating and proselytizing and, you know, then looking down your nose at people that, you know, work hard and raise animals and are omnivores, which is why we have canines, thank you, and why we don't have a functional cecum, look it up. We don't have a functional cecum. We cannot digest cellulose. Horses have a functional cecum. Okay. Ruminants, they have microbes in their rumen that digest the cellulose for them and then release volatile fatty acids so they can get usable energy. We don't have that. We aren't made to be a veg. I don't care what you say. You can go ahead all day long and try to explain to me bullshit, 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 bullshit. Anyway, what you have to do if you're going to like do that, live your word and don't even support a restaurant that sells meat and don't even support a grocery store that sells meat. I mean it. Like, live your word, because farmers live their word. We live our word. I mean, we do. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Like, it really upsets me. It's so easy to like sit in a city and think that your food comes from the grocery store. It doesn't. It comes from farmers. And I mean, there are so many hardships and nobody, like, it's so interesting because like I'll never forget this, you know, people are just brutal. When I was first on Facebook, somebody had said, I can't remember, they said something about, might have been my shoes or can't remember exactly what it is. They posted in a public group and they said, I can't believe Natalie Redding. And of course it highlighted my name, so it made me aware that they were talking about me. It was in this huge group, fiber artists and yarn spinners. I said, I can't believe Natalie Redding uses the money off of her animals to get, I can't remember what it was. It might have been Botox or no, it wasn't my hair because I don't do my hair. But Botox or shoes, I can't remember. And the first person to comment on that was someone who doesn't even like me. And they just ripped this lady. She's like, so you're saying that I can't sell fiber that I buy from a farmer, because if I sell fiber and then get my hair done, like somehow I'm cruel to animals. I mean, you could just like it was really, like, I have to be honest with you, there wasn't one person that defended this girl in this post, because even if they didn't like me, it's unbelievable that somebody would make a public post about me. It's completely unprovoked. I don't know why she decided to pick, like, it wasn't like I just made a post about my shoes or Botox. It was like just out of the clear blue sky. This person, her name was Fran. God, what was her friend name? I have it, she's blocked, so I'm sure I could look it up. But I mean, it's like so offensive. It's so offensive that somebody thinks that they can dictate, you know, what you can spend your money on as a farmer. But just let me tell you, it never pencils. Anybody, no, there's not one person that goes into farming for money. I'm telling you, maybe, I don't know, do we have any hay growers out there? It's possible, because you guys are killing it sending our hay to China. But I have to be honest with you. Other than maybe alfalfa hay in California, no farmers have to make money other places. It's a love. It's a love. It's an actual love. A deep, deep love. A deep love of what you do. You're like, okay, we could move on and that would be great, because you still haven't got to the point. So when like Lucky Brand wants to use, you know, they're like bragging that they're not going to use any more animal products, and you know, Ralph Lauren's doing it, and then there's what is it? The one that really upset me was Duluth. But there's another one that's like a more, I heard about it. It was on the radio when I was in England picking up fleece this year. And it's a big, like a more of a, like a younger clothing company, but big, huge. They're like, we're not going to use cashmere anymore. We're not going to, they went on. I just have to tell you, remember all the fair trade that everybody wanted to do? Think about this. Remember when fair trade was a huge thing and everybody wanted to help all the people in third world countries? And China's considered a third world country. Their economy is only like a third less than ours. They are not a third world country. I said this the day before yesterday to my one of my great friends, aunt was here from Mill Valley, and she's completely disconnected from reality. I'm just going to tell you. She's like, but the people are so poor. I said, yeah, the people are poor because the government's rich, and so is the military. Like, I'm sorry, but that's how communism works. I mean, there's very few people that are actually wealthy, but it's not because there's no money. They own us. But Anyhow, so and also Mongolia is not a third world country, but I'm talking about like Tibet and like Peru and you guys know, like a lot of the places we get, like especially cashmere. But we had this big push for buying things from fair trade. And so what these economies, these microeconomies would do is then they would be like, oh, okay, you want more cashmere, we'll make more cashmere. You want more wool, we'll make more wool, and we'll grow more sheep. But the problem is they actually have to feed those animals. And so then they go and they get their flocks up, and now you're going to take it away from them. So now they have all these animals that they could barely feed anyhow, but at least they were getting revenue. And now all of those designers and all of those clothing companies that were supporting them dropped them in a day. And what do you think is going to happen to all of them? First of all the animals will be slaughtered. And second of all, it's going to take a while for them to recover from that. It's just such bullshit, because I'll just tell you right now, I don't think the people in Tibet are going to be making plastics for you guys anytime soon. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. People don't see, like, you have to look and see what you're doing to other people. And they don't want to. It's like, and I call it the fake news, because the fake news is the media is saying wool is bad, and they're saying that agriculture is bad and that we're all demons, and they demonize it. And the problem is there's nobody that advocates for it. There are only people that advocate against it. That is the bookend. Nobody advocates for it. How many people do you hear advocating against it? And Duluth, honestly, I will not buy anything from them. Not that I bought anything. I did buy from Talbot's once, because they did, I can't remember what it was. They stood up for something, and a lot of people gave them a lot of shit. And so I'd never shopped with them before, and I bought my husband a pair of Oboz shoes. O-B-O-Z. They're really good. Anyway, moving on. You're like, thank God. We're so bored with that conversation. And then David says, my dad does say none of it goes to China. Good job. Because ours, and I don't know if you live in a place where there's not a port. But that might be why. Because I know our hay goes to China. People, and then Crystal says, people don't understand how much we love our animals. They know. And they just call us hypocrites. I don't know how that's possible. You couldn't be farmers if we didn't love our animals. That's right. And animals that are mistreated, you guys, don't produce. So it's bullshit. If somebody says they mistreat animals, there is no farmer. Just watch Temple Grandin. Temple Grandin, I'm telling you, she's got, like I knew about Temple Grandin before anybody did. I'm so kidding. Not like before anybody, but I meant anybody in the public and not in animal science, because we had to learn about her in school. And then they made a movie of her, 20 years later, after I'd been in 20 years, something like that. And she's autistic. She's severely autistic. And she's the one that figured out, better ways of setting up equipment and dealing with ruminants, so that the people wouldn't, really, it comes down to, the way that she got people to do it was to explain that they're losing money by, if they have the gate set up and the way the pens are configured, animals hang up, and when they hang up, meaning they won't keep going in a natural flow, that they'll end up hitting their loin, and so they'll hurt the meat, like the most important meat, or whatever. If they're stressed out because of their environment, they won't be able to let down their milk. And with wool animals, what happens is they get wool break, so your products are ruined. So you can't stress out animals. You can't stress out meat animals, because it really hurts the meat. It damages the meat, not just in it's the stress. The stress makes the meat not tender. So, and everybody knows, if you're a mother and you've nursed before, being stressed out, you're not able to let down your milk. I mean, it's just a fact. People don't think of this, though. They want to grab hold of what they see in the media, and then they go, wow, I want to get this cause. Well, I'll tell you a great cause. Southern California high kill shelters, which pretty much all of them are, they literally, in 72 hours, you're dead. If you're a Yorkshire Terrier or you're a Pit Bull, and the Yorkshire Terrier came in 3 minutes before the Pit Bull, it's getting killed first. And that's just the way it is. So, I mean, that's a totally, it's and really, that's the bottom line, is that there are a lot of great causes out there. And, trying to demonize farmers isn't one of them. Because no good farmer mistreats their animals. Bam. And then Allison, at first I thought you said, I'm totally not bored. That's what I thought you said. She didn't say that. She said, I'm totally not bored, but I'm guessing you are totally an American, because that's how I talk to you. Like and totally. Okay. And then Gabriella is saying that she always tries to support her farmers, which I really appreciate. And then Gail's saying the domesticated animals would not exist if we didn't keep them. That's right. And that's the other thing I say. Okay, so now what? We have them, now what? Because you know what? They can't live on their own. Oh my God. I don't have a thing for it, but I wanted to put up. I have chicks. You guys, this is a really bad time to buy chickens, by the way, because it's not spring. And so there is this theory that if you don't buy chickens, if you buy chickens in the spring or you buy them in the fall, which is not suitable really to be raising chickens because it's starting to get cold, right? That no matter what, they'll still mature at the same rate. The difference is for Ibrahim, I bought some, if people raise chickens, they know that the Cornish crosses are really what you guys eat. So it's not like it's not like a Rhode Island Red, or those are considered dual purpose, but they're really not. They just aren't. Buff Orpington, things like that. They don't have a big breast, but these Cornish crosses, oh my God, they grow so, you guys, they are just eating machines. I have to take their food away at night or they will get deformed. So like this is this selective breeding, right? They selected for them to mature at 8 weeks. And so at 8 weeks, I mean, imagine from a little chick to 8 weeks, they're like already like you can see they just look like, woof, woof, woof. And I've only had them like 4 days. But anyhow, so I, clean their little, they're in shavings, and I have this thing that was from a rabbit pen, and it has these little holes in it. I flip it upside down so that the shavings don't get in their food, and it's right underneath they're not lights anymore. They have these heaters, and they won't catch your barn on fire, thankfully. So they walk under these heaters, and they sit under these heaters. I cleaned it out yesterday, and then I went in today, and I picked up the thing again, and there was a chick under it, alive. It is just sitting under there, like, okay, I'm here for like 40. No, it wasn't 40. It was like 28 or 30 hours. But that part that it was under happened to be under the lamp, and then it just popped up and just went and started, like playing with its friends. It didn't even immediately go get water. I'm just like, But there's like 60 in there, and I was sure I didn't get anybody caught under there. But of course, when I put it down, somebody must have darted underneath. I promise you it'll be fine. But what wasn't fine, I wanted to kill my kids. Not my kids, my adult kid. So just to let you know, so there's other chickens in there too, and they lay 3. That's the God's truth. It's crazy. So like a Buff Orpington, or Rhode Island Red, or the Plymouth Rocks, the Barred Rocks, they don't lay 365 days a year. They don't. But like a Leghorn or a California White, they'll lay 365 days a year. So I have some of those, and so those ones can live long. They can live until they're they die of old age, conceivably, right? But these other ones, they actually aren't going to be able to go past them. Abraham will have to slaughter them. I don't slaughter them; he slaughters them. So he'll have to slaughter them, and otherwise they'll get deformed. So anyway, I go in there and I see one's been pecked by the babies, and it's like missing some of its little down, and I see that my 27-year-old thought it would be a great idea to pick a chicken that he wanted to keep and put a little bit of red paint on it. Well, red is like blood, and they will peck at it. So this poor chicken, and plus it's a chicken that is not going to be living past 8 weeks, so why he wanted to keep that one, it's just so stupid. And I got really mad at him. I made him take a Sharpie in there and like black it out. So I was like, okay, if you're gonna put something on its back, do not put red on it, because then the other chicks are just they're gonna eat it. They're just gonna keep pecking it until it's like this giant sore, and it'll die eventually. So you're like, do we have to talk about that? I'm sorry. It's what I do. It's animal science. Okay, moving on. Okay. And then Anita's saying she comes from 10 generations of dairy farmers, and her husband keeps sheep because she wanted to continue farming tradition. Yes. And dairy farmers are such hard workers, and they do everything themselves, like everything. Like, they're amazing. Really, I've said that last week. They're really amazing, hard workers. And then Christine is saying that it's so true. Those chickens get huge like small turkeys. They do. They're huge. It's really amazing. It's truly amazing how that we've, people like when they talk about GMO. What we don't realize is that we've been eating GMO since, I think, every bit of corn you've ever eaten in your entire life, and every grape, unless it's from your own house. I'm pretty sure. I think I learned that because I had to take crop science, and I'm almost 100% sure. I will tell you this. It's crazy. Chickens are cannibals. Amber's saying chickens are cannibals. They're brutal. They are brutal. When I was in getting my undergraduate, and this is in 90, probably like 93, somewhere around there, 94. And in embryology, I think it was, I saw a video from Colorado State University, and they had taken an embryo. This is the God's truth. I mean, they could do this with a human and a chimpanzee. They took an embryo from a goat and an embryo from a sheep, and then took the outer covering, which is called the zona pellucida, from the sheep, because that's what implants into the uterus, the zona pellucida. And they took all of the cells out of the goat and put it into the sheep zona pellucida with the sheep embryo. So it's not half the number of chromosomes. This animal that's going to be born is going to have some parts of its body, if they test it, it will be a goat, and some parts of it, it will be a sheep. It's nuts. So some parts of it would have wool, and then some parts it would have hair. They were called chimeras. And so chimera is, I mean, theoretically, you could easily do it with a primate and take like a human. I'm sure they're doing it somewhere. I'm not kidding. Especially if, think about this. So this is 1994, 95. And that video obviously wasn't done then. It was done, I'm sure, a couple years earlier. But imagine. There's somewhere they're taking an entire human embryo, and they're taking an entire gorilla or chimpanzee embryo, and they're putting all of those cells. So essentially it has double the amount of chromosomes. It's nuts. Nutters. You're like, what? The stuff that I know. And Jan's saying that's creepy, and then Amber's saying super creepy. Yeah, and then Deborah's saying humans also have chimeras. Yeah, but they're different. They're like mosaics. So it's different. Yeah, it's different because they're not two completely different species. Right? They're the same, I mean, they're like, but there are genetic mosaics, and they call them chimeras. No, and then Sharon's saying, well, we'll be able to reproduce or be like a mule. No. See, Sharon, you can't think of it that way because you're thinking that it's a hybrid. Like, it's like a different species that have crossed. This is not. So it would be so you're talking about a mule, which would be half the genetic material of a horse and half the genetic material of a donkey. That's not what's happening. It's the entire genetic material. So it's not an egg, it's an embryo. It's an embryo, so it has the total amount. If we were to have allowed that sheep embryo to stay in the uterus, it would have become a sheep. So we're taking the entire embryo at the blastocyst stage, and we're taking all of those cells, and we're taking all of the cells at the blastocyst stage of this goat, and we're putting them all into one embryo. So it has double the amount of chromosomes. Not like not like one off or two off. It's like double. It's nuts. And it's not a hybrid. The only word that I know, there might be a scientific term for it, but the only word I know is chimera, because that's the term that they use. So, and I used to do this for my master's degree. It was the investigation and validation of whole genome amplification systems in bovine blastocyst biopsies. So what I did is I had this isothermal way of amplifying DNA, and I would take it would look like, it's like playing video games, but you have a microscope, and you have an embryo in a dish, and you poke the embryo with this needle. You're looking through the microscope, and so there's like one toggle that it holds it, like with air it sucks the embryo and holds it. Then this other one, this needle, you're toggling with this other needle, and it comes in and it punctures the embryo and sucks two or three cells out. So only take 2 or 3, or it won't be viable. The embryo won't be viable. Then we would take those 2 or 3 cells, and we would amplify the DNA, not using PCR, using this. There was a new technique that I had found that had just been published, and I hadn't even read any papers of anybody else that had tried it. But Cal Poly, we had research money, and so they bought all the stuff, and we tried it, and it worked amazingly well. And so we were able to amplify enough DNA off of these three cells to be able to pre-sex the embryo that was left, and then test it for two different genes. One was a milking gene, and one was a meat tenderness postmortem gene. And then we would put those embryos, if they were what we wanted, homozygous for the traits that we wanted, or female, and we would implant them back into the cow. And then we would know, parts of their genotype. It was pretty awesome. Anyway, so I used to micromanipulate embryos is the whole point. So I understood that was, so you don't even care. And then Jen's like, I got pregnant once. And then Nancy's saying, would a combined embryo, thank you. She's like, would you just say combined embryo? Yeah, it has the normal amount. It just has like patches of hair and patches of wool. So in this case, yeah, I mean, what would happen if you did a human? Like let's say theoretically, I mean, you wouldn't have, it wouldn't, no, because there's enzymes. The way it happens when you're, because you know how like thalidomide would stop, people would have like no limbs or shortened limbs. It would be depending on what stage of growth in utero that the embryo was at. And there's enzymes are what stop, these are the messengers, or chemical messengers are what stop long bones from growing, or and so that's what would happen, is it would send a signal, the thalidomide would send a signal to stop growth. Rather than letting the body naturally tell you. Just like I guess an example could be, it's not exactly analogous, but it's similar to, like, has it ever occurred to you why, like, if we have a cut, unless you keloid, but you have a cut, like, it'll heal, like, let's say it's a minor one, it'll heal, but it doesn't keep like piling cells on, like it's like they understand, they get to a point and they're bumping into the other skin and they stop, right? Unless there's other things like cancer or like the papilloma virus, warts, that doesn't have that signal. You're like, great, this is such riveting conversation. Let's talk about warts. I swear to you though, I had a wart when I was little and they said bury a dish towel and it'll go away, and it did. It did. But it was obviously not because of that. I want to show you another bow I made because I keep looking at it. It's a weird color. I almost overdyed it because I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling the love, because I'm like I want it to be like super jewel tone, or I want it to be super deep, just, you know, deep colors. And it's not. It's weird. It looks like, I don't know. I almost thought of Jordan almonds, and I was like, stop it. It's so weird, because I hate Jordan almonds. Plus I have a fake tooth right now because I broke a tooth on a chocolate chip cookie. It's over here, and it's my grinder. It's a grinding tooth, and I would break it. You're like, shut up. Anyway, see, it's kind of weird. Like, this is actually blue and silver. And then it's like 12 feet long. So this is, and it's so, oh my God, it's so silky. So this is long wool. That's why it's so pretty. It's very lustrous. You're like, we don't care and we don't want to see it anymore. Stop showing us your stuff. You're like, it's weird. No, I want to show you this one because it's a totally different type of fleece. And for people that don't know, it's a primitive. And it's a special kind of primitive. It's a Lanark Scottish blackface from Ireland. From Ireland, Lanark. You guys, there's several different types of Scottish blackface. It's like regionality. So it really technically, it looks like gorilla fur. It should not dye like this because it's primitive. It should be all modulation and be like, just like, you know how gray hair doesn't pick up dye? It should be like that where it doesn't want to pick it up. But it frickin' is amazing. So this is stuff that I buy when I go to Northern Ireland. I love this because it's just so cool. And the Lanark can get like that long. I have fleeces that are that long. And so for you people who don't spin, you're like, why is that so cool? Because it just is. It's like gorilla hair. You're like, wow, that's really interesting. Okay, I'm not going to show you what's on my needles yet. It's not time. I'm too busy chatting about other things that you guys don't care about. Well, so actually, so I'm reading, if anyone wants to know, because I'm reading on Facebook, on facebook.com/teaswatersheep. Because I have it, do you like that, So I do, okay, so just because we're friends now. You're like, really? Because we don't like you. I love that Jan's in there. It makes me feel so good. So we were talking about, I didn't really bookend it, but I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to bookend the whole thing. It's all fake news to me. It's bullshit. It's marketing. It's called marketing. And now people want to sell you plastic shit. Just to let you know, rayon, viscose, modal, tencel, none of that is natural. Go and pick me some tencel right now. But they lie. They try to tell you it's not. Without machinery and chemicals, you're not making tencel and you're not making modal. You aren't making viscose. You aren't making rayon. I'm going to tell you. It's spun through, it's liquid. It's liquefied like pulps. Some of them, can't remember, I think it's viscose might be the one that doesn't have lignin. Is it lignin? xylem, phloem. It doesn't matter. It was one of those. And but it's just made it slightly different. The other ones are like wood pulpish, like round, and they are liquefied, and then they're put through a spinneret that forms it into a fiber, a filament fiber. Filament means a continuous strand. Obviously, if you're being formed, you can have a continuous strand. So silk and man-made fibers are the only filament type fibers. The others are staple, meaning they have pieces, sections, small sections, long sections. Anyway, you're so informational. I just have to tell you because I don't want you to buy that stuff thinking, oh, I'm wearing something that's natural. Bullshit. It's not natural. I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't go pick it. If you can't go pick it, you can't grow it. It's not natural. Booyah. Okay. Keep chatting. And then I love this Janny. She said Ingi. I don't know what that is. I-N-G-E-O. I have no idea what that is, and I think it's a dirty word because she's filthy. Her mind is filthy dirty. And milk, all of those are chemically melted and extruded. They are. Go and try and wear milk. Okay. And then Nancy was like, wow. I thought, yes. And then David says, Rand's motor. They're considered, actually, David, they're considered, yes, semi-synthetic. You're right. I'm sorry, I just read the synthetic part because I wanted to be right, like I'm so smart. Yes, you are right. They are called semi-synthetics. Good job. And, hey, dealer in Coke, Amy. I don't have it here, but I'm going to write it. No, I'm not because it'll take too long. My handwriting's bad. Okay, I'm going to go with it. Okay, here you go. You guys, I swear to God, you're going to think I'm lying, but I'm not. This isn't a lie. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm going to take my glasses off for this. Why? Because I just have to look you straight in the eye. And plus, you know when they used to say they would have that commercial where it says raccoon eyes? Don't have raccoon eyes. I have raccoon eyes all the time. I don't know if I'm ever going to change. It actually looks like, I call it heroin chic. It looks like I've been on a bender all night, and I probably have. And then I woke up I didn't take my makeup off, and I never do. And then I went like this in the morning, like this. And then I went over and grabbed I don't know, let's say bourbon, something scotch, single malt scotch, and let's slugged it down, and it was like, coffee, anybody? Like that's kind of like my eyes normally. They call it smoky eye. People call it raccoon eyes, whatever. Maybe okay, here we go. So hay is very costly in California because we sell it to the Chinese. You're like, you're so political. I'm not. It's because I'm in agriculture, you guys. I'm telling you. They sell our hay to the Chinese. China is the biggest producer of sheep in the world. I probably told you that last week. I'm going to tell you it again. And probably every Tuesday till the end of time. Anyhow, so they're like, we're so stupid, the Chinese, because they're so smart. They're like, we're so dumb. Why are we taking empty containers back to China? Why don't we fill them with American hay? Well, that drove our hay prices up like exponentially. Like it went from from $7 a bale to $24 a bale. Some days I'll say it's $22 a bale. Some days I'll say, but whatever. It's somewhere in the 20s. So it people were losing their houses at the same time. This was in 2008, and so people were just leaving their animals in Southern California to die. They were just leaving them. It was horrible. And so anyway, I figured out several times. I figured out different ways of managing my hay because I feed year round. I don't have grass. Anyhow, my newest thing is I found this hay company that sells me. They export their hay. Naughty. They export their hay, and it's a huge hay company. They export it to different countries, Taiwan, wherever. But usually, it's baled. It's like double compressed, so they're like 60 to 80 pound bales. Those little bales, but they're heavy because they're double. They put them through a double compressor. So a regular hay bale isn't compressed, because they have to save space. This is double compressed. It's compressed, but it's not double compressed. These are double compressed. So anyway, they have what are called kickouts. Kickouts is hay that they will identify something they didn't like in it, but if it's in a stack, they see one little imperfection, and the imperfection could be they saw a piece of something yellow, like it looked like it was starting to turn to sugar, something like that, or it was like a little bit sun bleached. The entire stack that it's on they put KO on it, kick out. So those kickouts, what people do is companies will often buy them and make them into hay pellets or hay cubes, but this company doesn't. They don't do that. They don't source them to other people like that. They source them to people like me. So when the tariffs happened, the plant here, because they have it's a big company. They have companies. There are companies stationed in several of the states. But the one here is specifically because it's in Long Beach where where they ship. So it's right there. So they double compress it there. So all of the hay comes in on trucks, and then they offload it. They double compress it, and then they put it in the tankers to go overseas. When the tariffs happened, they stopped production. When they stop production, there's no more kickouts because they're not double compressing anything. The hay is just sitting there in the warehouse, right, in the factory. So my husband is the one that always deals with the guy there. And I'm not going to say his name. It's Kevin. That's an alias, not. And he's like 35, 36 years old, a nice guy. But Sean's the one that always deals with him. So Sean comes to me and he goes, hey, Natalie, I don't think we're, Kevin says they're out of production. I don't think we're going to get any more hay. And I said, there's no way. There's no way. I've never been there, but I just knew there was no way that they have hay that they don't want. I'm just not going to be getting it. Let me just tell you, I try my heart out for everything. I don't just take no for an answer. I really try. And it's not easy because nobody likes to be rejected. I have total separation anxiety, and I'm just like everybody else. I have a lot of insecurities, and it's very difficult for me to be rejected. But I am desperate. I can't farm if I have to pay $300 a ton for hay. I'm not going to be in business. I go through 750 pounds a day. So anyway, so he's like, well, Natalie, maybe you just need to take a trip up there and meet Kevin. And I was like, and see what you can do. And I was like, well, okay, I'll do it. So me and Jenny's hot. We drive up to Long Beach, and we go there, and I bring some wine, and so I say, hey Kevin, my name's Natalie, and I say, this is my friend Jenny, and Kevin's eyes, instantly he's like a wolf, a drooling wolf, and he's quite a bit younger than me. He's I want to say 36, was it 34, 36, somewhere in there. Right? And I know he's married. My husband's already told me. But this guy, literally, and all of a sudden, he's like, hey, you know what? I think next week, I'll have a truckload for you, a truck and trailer load. So I'm like, so it's be 40,000 pounds. 40,000 pounds of hay. And I'm like, okay, well, I look at Jenny and go, this was worth it. This is worth a 2-hour drive. So anyway, I go home and I'm like, well, it's not. So he goes, give me your number so that I can tell you, when I get hay and what I have and, everything. And I'm like, sure. So I give him my number. I'm not home 15 seconds. And I have a picture in my inbox of his penis, which I might add is very large. It took up my entire screen. And literally, I want to say that's so rude. It's really rude because first of all, I'm married, which he knows, and second of all, I'm old enough to be his mother, and third of all, we do business together, and so am I going to have to tolerate this to get my hay? Yes. Will I tolerate this to get my hay? Yes. So I don't say anything though. So a day goes by and he writes. He's like, oh my God, I'm really. And then the panic you can see in his writing. The panic is set in. Oh my God, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that. Did I offend you? Did I offend? So I write back. I'm an adult. It didn't offend me. I mean, this is what I'm thinking in my mind. It didn't offend me. It's totally inappropriate. And it is inappropriate. And it's ew, right? It's not ew because I don't like penises. I quite frankly love penises. It's ew because I'm not sleeping with you, and it was unsolicited, right? But I realized he obviously has a problem. Because there's nobody that does that doesn't have a problem. And so then I kind of feel a little bit sorry for him because if he sent it to me, I guarantee he has sent it, he probably meets the girl, let's say he's, handing in his dry cleaning, and he's like, oh, by the way, I just, might need my dry cleaning really early. Can you give me your number? And then he sends her, I'm serious. Let's just be straight, right? So anyway, I write him and I say, listen, I just got to tell you. I said, no, I'm not offended. It was not appropriate, but I'm not offended at all. I'm a big girl. That's what I say. I'm a big girl. But I don't say anything else. And then he writes and he goes, hey, so would you be interested in swinging with my wife and me? I'm like, how can I keep my hay deal and not do this, right? Because I'm not doing it, by the way. But I'm like, how am I? Because, the whole thing is you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to hurt their feelings. And let me just tell you, I'm not an easy mark. First of all, I'm monogamous. Hashtag monogamous. So then I'm like, okay, let's just use humor. And that's what I do. I go hashtag monogamous. Thank you so much for the offer. Hashtag monogamous. Lol. Then I write lol. Okay, this goes on. This has been going on, you guys. I'm sorry to say, since I want to say maybe June or July. And I'm really nice to him. I talk to him on the phone, and the good news is I don't get my notifications on my texts, so my husband doesn't have to see that this guy's sending me pictures of his cock. Anyway, and but he'll do stuff like, this is how he writes me. He'll be like, did you get the picture? Did you get the picture? And I'm like, I won't write him back for okay, again, I shouldn't have done that, should I? He's like a little child. He's like a child. And then he's like, did you show, having conversations with himself, did you show Jenny? There will be like this much of his texts that are all like he's talking to himself because and then after he's like, then I start feeling bad because I actually really do like him as a person. I think he's got, and I just tell him, so this is what I write. I go, hey, listen, I say, I'm not offended. You just are a sex addict. So I'm just letting you know. I mean, that's what the problem is. The problem is this. The problem is that you have a problem. It's like seriously a problem. He's like, yeah, I think I might. And so then he's like, did you show your friend Jenny? So you know what I do? This is so bad of me. So Jenny's single. So what do? I say, hey, let me just give you Jenny's contact number. I give him Jenny's, because I'm like, Jenny never asked where he got her number. All of a sudden, Jenny's like, Kevin keeps texting me and keeps sending me pictures. I'm like, really? God, that's just, he just, he's an addict. I just go, he's an addict. Oh, well. She's like, what should I do? I'm like, I don't know. I just try to I just make humor out of it. So now Jenny, I'm serious. So Jenny gets, anyway, the point is, so he's quitting, they're shutting down this LA. You guys, it's devastating to me because I don't know what I'm going to do about my hay. So I have to buy my hay for like a year in advance because I get it for such a great deal. And the other favorite part is this. So then he tells me, I know how much it costs me. It costs me 110 for kickouts a ton, which is nothing. And it costs me 90 a ton for chaff. So he they just bill my credit card, and I've never like checked on it or anything. But every time I order, he says, hey, I got a truckload for you. I go, you're gonna give me the serious bro deal, right? And he's like, yeah. So absolutely. Well, he's leaving the company because they're shutting this one down and they're moving to Arizona, and he doesn't want to move to Arizona, and he hadn't given his notice yet. He's like, you better get all the hay you can right now. I said, okay, I'll just buy whatever you have. So then I talked to him last night, and he's like, I got a truck and trailer load for you. And I said, you're giving me a deal, right? And he's like, yeah, of course, I'm totally hooking you up. And then I said, how much are you giving it? I mean, I just want to make sure. What is my serious bro deal? He goes, 110 a ton for kickouts and 90 a ton for chaff. I go, wait a minute. That's what it costs. I was being charged that before you ever came. So you're trying to tell me you've been charging me 100, the same exact, but you're giving me a deal? I said, that just irritates me. It's like the emperor's new clothes. I was like, you're going to have to fix it. So anyway, he fixed it. So now I'm getting a better deal. And I said, you better retroactively. And he's like, I can't retroactively. I go, on this shipment that I'm supposed to get tomorrow, then you're going to make it less. And he is. I mean, like, let me give you a serious bro deal. Let me charge you what everybody charges. It's just like, so. And I had to tolerate that. Actually, I'm not going to lie. It is immense. I'm not going to lie. I'm not. It's really shocking. That's another story. I know, poor Jenny. And then David says, at least it's a nice penis you're enabling, Jenny. I have to tell you, though. Oh, he's a okay, so you guys, I know that you don't. Okay, he's a swinger. So, obviously, he invited me to swing. But I just said, yeah, no. But, and it's hard to tell someone that without hurting their feelings. So, you just have to be funny. So, I just try to use that. But anyway, so he's like, hey, we're going to this. I guess there's one in, I want to say the desert, Palm Desert or something. I can't remember. Palm something. Not Palm Springs, but I think it is Palm Desert. They have like a place where swingers go. This pretty swinger. There's a lot of swingers around this. I think I said this. Anyway, there just are in Southern California. So anyway, he's like, hey, why don't you join us? And I was like, no, I'm good. And then I was like, please tell me that you use condoms. He was like, no, I can pretty much tell if someone. I was like, okay, Kevin, you're insane, and that's not true. You cannot tell. I was like, okay, I said, you are very dangerous. That is very dangerous behavior. I was like, if it weren't just for the fact that I'm not a swinger, you telling me that would have killed it for me. Like, literally. And plus, and then I always, whenever, like, I'm talking to him, I go, I certainly hope you're not sleeping with your secretaries. And then he changes the subject, which means he is sleeping with the secretaries, which is so stupid. I just can't even tell you. And it's like so irresponsible. Like, you don't sleep with subordinates when you're the boss. You just don't. Didn't he learn anything from Harvey Weinstein? I'm serious. Like, I could, I mean, it's just, but I do feel sorry for him in some ways. And he is a nice person. He has a problem. It's like a drug addiction. And and the other thing is because I think if I was in my 20s or my 30s, I would probably report him. But because I'm old, it's like a little kid, like tapping on your shit. There's nothing. My husband, on the other hand, let me just tell you. So he's like, because he knows, he's like, because I don't like lying. I think lying is, it's not that I won't lie and haven't lied, but to my husband, I don't lie because it really is a killer to intimacy. I will tell you that. So if he asks me a question, I just straight. He's like, so what's going on with Kevin? I'm like, he's like, is he like in love with you? I was like, well, I wouldn't say in love, but he does definitely. He's like, that just is. I mean, like, what is wrong with him? Like, you know, we were friends. I was like, you weren't friends. You did business together. He's like, but I didn't send you over there for him to try to pick up on you. And I said, no, but you sent me over there because you knew it would work. So basically, that's what you were doing. Do you know what I'm saying, you guys? Why would he send me? Why would he say, no, you have to go, if he didn't think it was going to work? Exactly. Exactly. So I said, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to feel bad about it. I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm getting what I need, and that's the story. Now Jenny's, poor Jenny. Okay, David's like, gross. I know. He's gross over that no condom. I'm looking. And then Nancy's like, after months of looking at his stupid penis, it should be free. No kidding. But I did show Jenny, and Jenny's like, oh my, like, seriously, like, some guys would just think it was like, but everything, his whole, you guys, his entire self-esteem is wrapped around his penis. And I said, wrapped around his penis, that sounds weird. But I said to him, you know, I hope you don't ever have ED, because if you have erectile dysfunction, my friend, you are going to turn to rubble. Like, seriously, like, he will just be crushed. And wouldn't that just be like karma? Because, you know, he's young now. It works. But I mean, I can't remember what the percentage of men over 50 something, thank God my husband's not one of them, that have ED. And I just have to go back to, my husband, as a matter of fact, has high blood pressure, and he's like, I'm not taking medicine. I would actually rather have a stroke. As long as my, you know, member is working fine. I was like, I'm gonna agree with you on that. Thank you. Okay, moving on. You guys like, enough of that. I'm send him a picture of a horse. No, and then Gail's saying, is that the penis I saw at the retreat in July? No. Okay, you guys are like, how many penises? No, this wasn't a guy that sent me a penis. My friend Allison sent me, she was dating this guy. She's like, and just so I opened my message, I see that and Allison's been a friend of mine. We dated brothers. So I dated Bobby Murphy. She dated Michael Murphy when we were in high school. And so I've known her since high school. She's awesome. Anyhow, she's like, this is the guy I'm dating, and it's a picture of him and his penis. And I was like, holy mackerel. It's bigger than that one, Gail. It's okay, I'm going to tell you inches, and you're going to be like, not believe me. And he's not very tall either. That whole thing, and hands, he's got small hands. It's a 9-inch penis. It's huge. It's like massive. It's massive. But he never stops talking about it, guys. He's like, you know, I mean, every conversation starts with, well, you know, not many people can, you know, handle a 9-inch penis. Well, you know, and then you'll be like, so, what do you have lined up for today? Well, you know, I was gonna go out and, you know, have a drink, but not everybody can, you know, handle a guy with a 9-inch penis, especially, you know, when they're looking at the bulge in your pants. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter what you say, we go back to a 9-inch penis. And then he'll say stuff, I'm not lying, you guys. He'll say stuff, he'll like text me and go like, you know my penis is bigger than your husband's, right? I'm like, because he wants you, he baits you, he's highly intelligent. He really does have a problem. Until he wants to fix that problem, he's always going to be like this. It's really sad. I feel sorry for his girlfriend. It's not his wife, it is his girlfriend. And I do, because she stays with him. And she's, you know, swings with him. And, you know, all that she asks is that he doesn't, this is from him, he told me. All she asks is that he doesn't, like, have affairs without her, you know, knowledge. And there's no possibility that she gets that wish. And that breaks my heart. Jenny's safe, because Jenny wouldn't touch it with Jan's 10-foot pole. She gets it, thank God. It was funny though, because he goes, hey, so because Jenny lives in Huntington Beach, and he lives, you know, in Los Angeles. So he's like, Jenny, does Jenny want to go have a drink or something? And I was like, yeah, no. I said, I don't even want Jenny to have a drink with you, because you never know what's going to happen. He's like, oh, so she's a slut. I just started laughing. I said, Kevin, she's not a slut. So funny. Okay. Hi, Jen. No, not Jen. Jenny, this is Jen Eddington. Okay. So I love that Gail has to bring up the... Okay. I know you really want to see what's on my needles after that, huh? You're like, we want to see a picture. Don't worry, I'll never do that to you. Okay, because I didn't do it last time. Okay, but this is my alternate title. I think a lot of women are not going to like it. Okay, is it me or is my husband stupid? But I retitled it, I'd kill him if I wasn't so horny. I'm serious. Not because of Kevin. You guys, stop it. That's it. I would kill my husband. So, my husband is not a stupid man. He's not. He's not a stupid man. As a matter of fact, he does not have an education. He went to college of, he went to Menlo College, which is like the gateway to Stanford, people say, or gateway, I don't know, back door. But, but he didn't graduate. Anyway, and I am more educated than him. However, he is, I've always said he's more intelligent than I am, and I say it all the time, and he always says, no, I'm not near as smart as you are, and I'm like, no, you are way smarter, and then we have a fight, and just kidding. But anyway, but now I'm starting to believe that I am smarter than him, because there's things like, it's simple things like, our air conditioner is not blowing cold air anymore. And I say to him, our air conditioner is not blowing cold air. And my husband gets, men usually get hot really easily, and women are usually cold. I'm cold all the time. Even, it has to be 85 degrees or I'm starting to get cold and need to wear a jacket. He's like, no, it's because it's extra hot today. I'm like, we live in Temecula, Sean. Extra hot is every day. Like every day. Like it's 110 degrees. So why is today different than the other days? No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I said, Sean, it's not fine. So this goes on for like a week. I'm like, I can't believe, like, it's so hot. It's blowing hot air. I can feel it blowing hot air on me. So finally I said, I just put my foot down. I said, okay, you don't think it's broken? It's broken. Call the guy. I'm not even asking you. Just call him. He calls him out. Guess what? Air conditioner broken. You would think he would learn from that. So I explained to him, Sean, this is the problem. You're in denial. You didn't want it to be broken, so it became not broken in your head. I'm not kidding you. This is the part I told you my husband can lie. Because in his mind, he makes this thing, in his mind, if it doesn't want to be, it's not. So the other day, I swear to you, once again, my hands, I wanted them around his neck so badly. I wanted to hurt him. I go to turn on the stove, and we have a pretty nice, stove, stainless steel stove, a DCS, and so it doesn't turn on, and the stove top doesn't turn on, and the oven doesn't turn on. And I was like, I was making risotto, and you guys have to keep moving it the entire time. I'm in the middle of making risotto when it stops working, and you have to. So then I have to run out because you can't stop. I have to run out and start using the barbecue. It was like a nightmare. But anyway, the risotto was amazing though, and I had smelled the propane earlier. I'd smelled the propane, and he had smelled the propane. He's like, oh, the stove is like, it's smelling like propane, and it's broken. The stove is broken. I'm like, the stove is broken. That's so weird. And then it dawns on me, though. It does go through my mind that I smell propane, and normally when you smell propane, your propane tank is low. And I say, it's not the propane. No, it's not the propane. We have plenty of propane. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, anyway, so then I do realize, I don't know what part of it made me, it like a lightning bulb. It's like, oh my God, it is the propane. He has let us run out of propane, and it's at nighttime on a Sunday, on a holiday weekend. I said, when was the last time when was the last time you ordered propane? May. This is November. You guys, I lost my shit, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's $250 to have an emergency, have them come out, and I will have no heat, no dryer. You're like, yeah, like you really need a dryer in Temecula, but still, no hot water, hello, once again, no hot water. And you know how many loads of laundry I do? I'm telling you guys, I'm like 6-7 loads of laundry a day. I'm not, I know you're like, there's nobody that could do that, because you don't have that. I mean, there's like 7 people in our house, but the Airbnbs, I'm telling you, there's that much laundry. I said, what part of when it smelled like propane and it didn't occur to you that you didn't buy it since May? Like, are you not thinking we're out of propane? I seriously, like, I know I'm just stupid. I couldn't disagree with him. But I'm telling you guys, so now and the worst part is it is 50% me. All of these things always are 50% the other person, because I he has me believing, because he's so convinced, like, oh no, it's not the propane, or oh no, it's not broken, like for, you know, for like this, like moments, days, I actually, like, I'm so relieved that, you know, because you want it to not be something that's going to cost you a lot of money, right? You want it to, oh, okay, it's just extra hot today, as opposed to the extra hot for the last, you know, 20 years we've lived here, right? I mean, I'm really actually serious about this. And then I started like reflecting on all of the things, whether it was, like I said, my tire, you know, I think, you know, my tire's losing air. No, it's not. And then of course it's flat, like, are just all the things. And I'm like, I realized that he's this hopeless, like, it's like not a romantic, but it's like a person that has always is trying to look at the good and find the good. But I got to tell you, when you don't have gas, when you don't have propane, there's no good in there. When you don't have cool air, there's no good in there either, especially when it's 110 degrees. Your house becomes, the insulation becomes like, it holds the heat in. You like suffocate. It's horrible. You guys are like, we don't want to hear about it anymore. And I love my husband. I have to tell you, after 26 years of marriage, I still want him naked all the time. But I have to tell you, I'm going to kill him during the day. At night, I'm always nice. At night, I'm like, I really wanted to kill you today, but let's get over that right now and let's just move straight to the bed. You're like, you and Kevin would get along good. No. No. The other thing is, what about exclusivity? I did say this to Kevin several times. I was like, Kevin, like, there's something to be said for being exclusive. Like, that is such a turn on. But, like, having sex with everybody, that's not sexy. That's like, yuck. It's not good. Okay, moving on. Hopeless optimistic. Gail, where are you? Help me. Okay, moving on. Okay, let me, so the reason why I do want to get frisky with my husband all the time is, do you guys know what bioidentical hormones are? Well, if you want to live, and you're like past the age of, let's just say menopause somewhere, then get bioidentical hormones, because it'll change your life. Testosterone, I've decided, is the wonder drug. It, like, makes your life worth living. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. And, you will feel like a 12-year-old boy. You'll be like, you know, seriously. You'll be like, why am I attracted to that guy all of a sudden? And you're like, stop it. It's just hormones. Okay, wait, what's on my needles? Or, I have to show it to you. Because my graphics. Be like, could you put them on, at least on cardboard, so they don't make that sound? What's on or off my needles, you guys? And pig nipples. I like to remember my patterns. You're like, they must be really difficult. No, I do. I like to remember my patterns, because I just like to commit everything to memory. But I don't have a photographic memory, by the way, and this is going to prove it. So anyway, I ripped my socks off again the other day. Well, I'm starting another pair, and it was a new colorway. So I'm knitting them, and then I realized I'm knitting them, and I'm talking to Kristen, and at one point I was talking to her on, like, whatever it is, like, so you can see, what is it, FaceTime, essentially. And then Trisha, too, and I'm realizing that as I'm knitting them, like, I look at them, and they look like pasties, like, they're little tiny, like, they look like they could be a little bra for, like, a pig. Like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm making pig nipple covers, because I was trying to do the star toe for my head, but the problem is I forgot that on the star toe, what you do is you do live cast on, where you have 8 stitches on each needle, live cast on, and then you have to divide each side into half, and you are increasing on each half. So you're increasing twice every other row on this side, twice every row on the other side. For some reason, I mentally, because I'd tried so many different types of toe, I got stuck on that you were increasing once. So when you increase once, you end up having, like, pasties for a little pig, like little tiny pig nipples. It took me, you guys, you're like, well, how long did it take you to figure out? Well, I mean, I was drunk when I started it. I wasn't drunk, but I had 2 beers, and I was very tired. And so then I was, like, knitting in the morning, so then I was just hungover. And, but by the time I had Starbucks, that Sean brought me at 9 o'clock, I realized that I had pig nipple pasties, not a star toe. So there's a lesson in there, but I will tell you, I will never make that mistake again. See, you have to make mistakes sometimes. You make the mistake, and then hopefully, I often repeat my mistakes because I forget that I did it, but most people don't. You guys are like, we don't care. I'm going to show you, not the pig nipple covers. I left them. You guys, when I walked out here, okay, I like to handball. I know you guys find that so funny. I like to handball. So I don't like square, like I don't like cakes. I like handballs. So but I don't like that they roll. Well, I'm coming out here and I got beer, 2 beers, and then I've got my computer and I got my charger and then I got my knitting and my balls of yarn, and they rolled off in the dark, in the dirt. That trail, they dropped off way back at the house. So literally I had like, I want to say 45 feet of yarn till here. And then Sean had to come out with his phone because my daughter has my phone, which I'm hoping that Kevin doesn't send me any naked texts. I'm dead serious about that. Now, how convenient. Now that he's leaving the state company, he's working for a mattress company. And he's doing some porn. He couldn't wait to tell me. I was like, you do sweat a lot, though. Because like when I'm talking to him at the warehouse, he's just dripping sweat. You're like, ooh, that sounds like a winning combo. 9-inch penis and lots of sweat. My favorite part is he says to me, he says, yeah, sometimes girls look at it and they go, what am I supposed to do with that? It's like, see, it's not all good. Okay. You guys are like, yeah, see, they're handballs. I do good balls, don't I? You have no idea. You're like, stop sexually harassing us. Okay, here. You know who I love is Ann Bammert, Roberta Bammert. She was born, I love her. She was born. Her dad named her baby. She told me the story. She said that he was drunk, and the hospital asked for the name, and he didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl, or didn't pay attention, and he just said, name her baby. Yeah, so the star toe. So this is where I'm at in my own yarn that I dyed into self-striping yarn. Do you like that right there? They're not blocked. Please don't judge. Don't judge. And I told you now my stitches aren't looking so good. Why? Why is that? Because I changed to continental knitting and they're not as pretty. It's not as pretty now because I'm still getting, and what happened was, I'm not going to lie to you because I don't want to hurt our intimacy, and I'm serious. You'll never trust me again. But what happened was, at first it was tighter. And then once I started getting really comfortable with it, I started getting loose again. And so now it's loose. So guess what I'm going to have to do? I know. I'm going to have to turn them into hats. I'm knitting 2 at a time. I actually added on another pair on here. I'm not lying. I added, okay, so I'd been doing this one for like, I don't know how many rows. I'm just going to say it's 20 rows. And then I was like, oh, I have this other yarn that's dry that I just dyed that's going to be going to Trisha because I don't like the colorway now. And it was self-striping too. And I cast it on right as I was doing these and then was able to knit them together even though they weren't started at the same time. Cool, huh? You're like, wow, you can't even get the toe done on 25 pairs of socks that you've started, but you added another pair. Yeah, I know. I'm not very smart sometimes. Okay, moving on. And then Amy's saying, I'm a pig farmer. Now I want to see the knitted and pig. Amy, you're a pig farmer? You know what they taught me? Wait. Now it's a hat for scrapping. I love you, Jan. I want to kiss you. I love her so much. I really do. Okay, listen to this. So, oh, and then Sharon says she wants to hear the story of my childhood. Is that possible? Are your parents still living? Okay, just to let you know, that is called a nightmare. That is called, no, my childhood was really bad. My parents hated each other. My mother's got a personality disorder, and she has 172 IQ, but when God giveth, he also taketh away. She is a nut. She is a nut. She's dangerous. Dangerous person. Anyway, moving on. Okay, and then the pig, so when I was going to Cal Poly, I had to take pig production, and this is what they said. If you have the lab, on the days that you have the lab, wear something that you never want to wear again because you will never get the smell out. Just walking through the, whatever it was, the barn, that we would never get the smell out of our clothes. I actually can't remember, and I was totally sober then. I was hitting on the sheep production teacher, Dr. Stokes. Dr. Stokes. What's his first name? Dr. Cliff Stokes. He works now, I think still. He works at Colorado State University. He was really hot then. Well, I don't know, it's your teacher, so it wasn't that hot, but he was younger, he had a good body, and I totally was like totally jonesing on him. This is before I met my husband. I met my husband almost simultaneously, and then I didn't care anymore because I loved my husband. I really did. When I met my husband, I was applying at his dad's racehorse ranch, and I walked through double doors like this, French doors like this, and there was a lip on coming in the door, and I ate shit. I tripped. I went flying. And the worst part was there was not only that lip, but then there was a step down. So I couldn't catch myself on level ground. It was down. And then I got up and I went, well, that was quite an entrance. I'm here. And the women in there hated me. They're like, don't hire. And so he did. He hired me. He's like, they're not going to tell me what to do. And look what he got out of it. A winner. Just kidding. Actually, I'm not. You guys, I have so many insecurities. It's ridiculous. Okay. Okie dokie. And then Amber's saying, I need to learn how to knit. Amber, you're a spinner. You better learn how to knit, woman. Yes, you're going to learn how to knit. Not you better. You're going to. You're going to. The thing that I like about Continental is that it makes it easier for me to crochet, and I don't crochet, by the way. Just to let everybody know, I don't crochet, but I do crochet to stabilize the boas. And it used to be a little bit. I felt so awkward because the wrapping part, when you don't have your yarn, your working yarn in your left hand, it's way better to have your working yarn in your left hand. I'm just telling you. And then Amy says that, yes, we collect our boars and we wear gloves. I hear it's really serious. Like the way they smell. I don't know where all the old stuff's going. It's so bizarre because, like, I only... And then Kristen's head over heels. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Sharon, what's the pig digestion? Okay, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not even going to... Sharon's like, what does the pig digestive... I don't think anybody's, like, excrement smells good, so I'm just going to go with that. And then Amber says, I do crochet and I weave. And then what you have to do is you do have to, if you crochet, you should start knitting and knit continental. Chris and I have these, what we're going to do is we're going to start a stranded sweater together. That's what I've decided. Well, I've decided with her, but she'll find the pattern. Let's hope that it works out better than, I'm telling you, this has been, but I had to like try a bunch of different toes first, and then it's the yarn, and I wish that my repeats weren't so long. Like I would have liked to have gotten to green by now. Hi, honey. Is everything okay? Oh, I haven't. But thanks so much. He's so nice. He's like, she's such an alcoholic. I'm sure she's went through 2 beers by now. I haven't, by the way. He's so nice, huh? I'm going to forgive him for letting us run out of propane. He actually didn't pay our water once, and our water was turned off. And I have to tell you right now, I think I might have hurt him. And I'm serious. Because you can't run out of water when you have a farm. So he doesn't pay any of the bills anymore. I do. Pay them all. Because they get paid. It should be a knit along. Why, Sherry? Do you want to do it? Because maybe we should do it. But then you guys are going to be so, my God, what if but it has to be V-neck, though. I did say that. And it can't be too complicated. I've knit a zillion sweaters. Not a zillion, but enough. Anyway. But I am not an expert knitter, and I'm not even probably an intermediate knitter. You're like, that's so sad. We're sorry for you. Don't be sorry for me. I've been knitting since I was 6. That's why my name was Knitty. I don't know why my name was Knitty. I actually don't. They used to call me, okay, don't laugh. They used to, I don't know why they would say this to me, but I thought my name was Knitty, N-I-T-T-Y, until I was, I want to say 7 or 8. My grandmother had to sit me down and say, did you know your name is Natalie? That was my mother's name. That's what my grandmother said. And then she said, she had a dimple and you have a dimple. And this is not a lie. And she offered to buy your parents a black and white television, because they didn't have color then. You're like, really? Did they even have TV, Natalie? Be honest. Didn't they have just stones and like, no, and like finger, what are they called? Shadow puppets? No. Anyway, and they gave her the black and white TV if they named you Natalie. And so they did. Anyway, and she taught me how to write my name Natalie and spell it. And then I was like, my name's Natalie. Everybody thought my name was Knitty. You're like, we don't care. We really don't. Oh, they used to call me Stinky Knitty Penny. They go Stinky Knitty Penny. They thought it was cute and funny. So stupid. But I'm serious. You're like, no one could come up with that story if it was a lie. Like, who comes up with that, like, off the top of their head? Like, how creative is Natalie? Well, she's not that creative, I'll just tell you. Knitty kit. Oh, that sounds naughty. Okay, yes, I like it. Naughty kitty, naughty knitty. A t-shirt. I'm telling you, it was nitty. It's so bizarre. I wish I had something, but I don't have anything from my childhood. You know what made me mad? For my cheerleading uniform, my mother, I don't know what happened to it in the end, but for some reason, because I was an emancipated minor, I went by my mother's house, and she was having a garage sale, and she had my cheerleading uniform with my name, Natalie. No, not Nitty, because by then I was Natalie. And you know how you have your name things that are like the raised anyway that you put on it anyway. And oh my God, this is a true story. So like, I just have to tell you that I understand this whole thing, hashtag like me too. Everybody in my age was either date raped or molested. Let's just be straight. I mean, most people, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Most people don't want to admit it, but that's just the way it is. So it's like, just get over it, because we had to. And hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. However, it's just the way it was. It doesn't make it right, but it's really true. And so this is so stupid of me. So there was I was living in Mendocino, California, and I had the game that I was cheering for was in Santa Rosa, California. And my mom brought me and dropped me off at the game, and then she gave me some money, like if I needed to buy, like lunch or whatever. And I wrote the number of where she was going to be on $1. How stupid am I? Well, what do you think I did? I spent that $1. I didn't know Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa's big, right? So I could not believe that I did that. And so I had to, then of course everybody's leaving and they see that I'm still there, and I'm like, I don't know where, I don't know the number, and I don't really know where. I just remember that it's by a Safeway. I did remember that. I said, the only thing I know is that the apartment complex is by a Safeway, where her friend, my mother's friend, Joyce, lived. I'll never forget. So Joyce had this boyfriend that was like, I just remember him being gross. But, when you're that age, everybody that's older than you is gross. And so anyway, they ended up finding the Safeway. These people that drove me, we found the Safeway. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's the apartment complex. So I go in the apartment complex. And so, we were there for a little bit. And then my mom and I get in the car, and we're going to get in the car. And Joyce's boyfriend goes to give me a hug. I don't know why. I didn't know him. And he tries to stick his tongue down my throat. It was disgusting. Like, really, it's just freaking vile. And I remember I get in the car and I'm like, he tried to stick his tongue down my throat. And my mother was like, oh, don't be ridiculous. I'm serious. That's how mothers were then. They were so great. As she smokes one of her Virginia Slims. Gives me lung cancer in the car with the windows rolled up. Anyway, moving on. Okay, let's see. And then Bridget says she's late. You're not. You're just perfectly on time. Except I'm going to have to go in a minute because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I've been here for a long time. Okay, so I don't have a conclusion. Oh, I was going to talk more about this. So anyway, I want you to know. So one of the things that Kristen and I like to talk about is I like to talk about the fact that one of the worst things is splitty sock yarn. I like platinum sock yarn. It's called platinum from Wool to Die For. I have to be honest with you. It's really nice. So that's the yarn. It's like a merino and a superwash merino and nylon blend. And I actually really love this yarn. And I did not like it necessarily with a size aught needle. And I changed to the one, as I told you before. But now I'm going to go back to an aught. I am going to go back to an aught. And I hate it because an aught actually does take a lot longer. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it shouldn't take that much longer, but it does. You're like, well, that's because you've knit 25 toes and you're still not past. You're not even to the heel yet. No, I'm not. Stop it. Don't shame me. Don't shame me. At least I want it perfect. Okay, you guys. So are you going to be here next week, please? You're like, well, what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about 8, 9-inch penises? Because we'll all be here. Did you guys go to the place? Did you go to the Etsy store? You got to go to the Etsy store. I'm telling you, I'm so like, I'm making our treehouse. Our treehouse is going to be an Airbnb, and I am going to put those handles on something. I don't know what, but I am. Because the treehouse, nobody's going to be able to stay in there if they're not super spry, because you're going to have to climb a net to get it up, or into a ladder. You either have the ladder or the net. So it's not going to be for somebody that can't do that. And why is that? Because it's a treehouse, and it was made to be a treehouse. So it's going to be not like an Airbnb that's supposed to be comfortable. It's an Airbnb. It's like the experience. It's like the experience. So I'm having a sale, you guys, this weekend. And it's going to be on this. It's going to be on Teeswater Sheep. It's going to be right where you are right now. So it's on Facebook.com/TeeswaterSheep. And then it's going to be tons of fleece. You guys have a bunch of show fleeces. And it's going to be a bunch of these boas. And it's going to be a bunch of undyed boas. And an hour beforehand, which is going to be at 1, what did I say, 1 or 1:30? I don't know. I'll try to be here by 1:30. I'm going to teach you how to stabilize the boas. And I have really amazingly beautiful fleeces that I shared off my own animals, and super long fleeces and beautiful boas, both dyed and undyed. I said that, and yarns that are dyed and yarns that are undyed. I bought some. My favorite is Crazy Eights, you guys. Crazy Eights. It's really springy yarn. It's like a DK weight. I'm so in love with this yarn, and it dyes so beautifully. Oh my god, I'm so in love with this yarn. You're like, then why don't you make something with it? Because I can't get past the toe on these. I can't move on to something until. Oh, Kristen, check out Crazy 8. Love that yarn. Sherry's saying, I want a fleece on sale this Saturday. Yeah, I'm probably going to have 60 different lots, and each lot will have like a couple pounds or a few, I don't know, more than a few. I don't know. It'll be a lot. But be there or be square. And then check out Stitches. Camp Stitches is like a few days long. Like you stay there. It's supposed to be, there's not very many people, it's like there's only like 5 teachers. It's like completely different than the regular Stitches. And then I'm going to be at Stitches West, as I said, for the 4 classes. And I really hope you guys support and join. And then I'm doing Fix It. Which is a class, and I think it starts on, I can't remember now. I honestly, it's making me mad because it's going to be about how to fix problems in your dye pot, and it's only 4 classes. It's 4 classes. It's in consecutive days, and they're recorded. So if you can't make the live class, you can watch it for. It ends up to be a week after the last class airs. And you can watch it as many times as you want. And if it's broke, fix it is the name of it, and it's on readymethod.com/enroll. Go there, and also Dye Secrets. A new session of Dye Secrets is starting on the 15th of December. And you guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, Dye Secrets, you learn a lot. You do. It's not, and it just makes your dyeing that much easier, and why you have problems, and it helps you get consistency. And I teach you about the actual reality of shit instead of the stuff that people tell you that's bullshit, because there's a lot of it. Stuff like you can't use aluminum. That might be true for dyeing that uses a lot of metals, like natural dyeing. It's not true for what we do. Anyway, moving on. Be there, be square. Join Reading Method group on Facebook. It's /groups Reading Method. Okay, you guys. And then Nancy says, thanks, Nancy. I love you. Nancy, you're so good. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, honestly. And I hope you're going to be here next week for Yarnitarian episode 2. Bye, you guys. Thank you for supporting me, honestly. And thank you for powering through it and coming this week, even though we had problems last week. But I tried really hard to fix them, you guys. I tried.